Hey guys, what's up? Wow, it's been a long time since I made that first video, huh? But hey, better late than never, right? So yeah, I'm finally back with more hidden JRPG gems for the Nintendo DS. Let's begin! Number 10. Blue Dragon Awaken Shadow. This game is part of a trilogy created by Mistwalker, the company owned by famous designer Hironobu Sakaguchi. Many people play the original Blue Dragon on the Xbox 360, but most were never even aware two sequels existed, both of them on the Nintendo DS. Awaken Shadow is the third and final game in the trilogy. The second one was called Blue Dragon Plus, and it was a real-time strategy RPG, kinda mediocre in my opinion. This one, however, was now an action RPG, a much better game. The reason I put it on number 10 is because it belongs to a popular franchise, but it's still a hidden gem considering many gamers missed it. Awaken Shadow continues the adventures of the main characters in the first game, but now you control your customizable protagonist, still with the art of Akira Toriyama. Don't expect a great action RPG a la Ys or Tales of, but now you have my guarantee it is actually a pretty decent game. Number 9. Sands of Destruction. Another one that's not that hidden is Sands of Destruction, especially since it was very popular when it first came out, and now it's become sort of like a forgotten gem. Many people from the Chrono series worked in this awesome turn-based RPG, such as Masato Kato on the script and Yasunori Mitsuda on the music. Hell, there was even an anime and a manga based on it. Anyway, here you take part in a mysterious plan about destroying the world, with the main character actually having the power to do so. This means that you indirectly play as the bad guys instead of the good ones. I mean, if Masato Kato did the story, you can easily expect a very well-written plot. It also has a very cool and interesting cast of characters, which is the part that I like the most. Battles are played in turns, with your party members at the right side of the screen. This happens in a combat system that is not very deep, to be honest, but it delivers anyway. At least it's fluid and engaging with some really neat features. Give this game a try if you can. Number 8. Rhapsody, a musical adventure. It's a remake of another hidden gem but on the PS1 with the same name. Rhapsody is a comedy through and through, but one that is really damn funny as it never, and I mean absolutely never, takes itself seriously. The major difference between the original version and this one is the battle system. It was a strategy RPG, extremely easy, and now it became a turn-based RPG, also extremely easy. Well, I can see they at least tried with some challenging battles here and there, but honestly, this has got to be the easiest RPG I've ever played. Both versions of it. That, however, does not mean it's a bad game at all. I think it's pretty fun and somewhat addictive to play, considering you'll barely die and continue playing in a few sittings. I say that also because, believe it or not, it's not only easy but also really short. In the end, Rhapsody the Remake is a hidden gem on the Nintendo DS that you should try if you want a quick and simple experience. Number 7. Luminous Arc 2. In my previous Hidden Gems video, I covered the first game in this underrated series of strategy RPGs. I also said that I thought the second title was not as good as the first one, whereas most people will easily disagree on that. Well, opinions, you know them. Either way, Luminous Arc 2 I think should have been on that first video, so now I'm here to make justice to it. What I found to be the two most remarkable aspects in this game were the difficulty and the fan service. The former seemed to be a little bit unbalanced for some reason. I mean, the first game wasn't that easy, but it was balanced, like an easy entry for beginners into strategy RPGs. This second game was way more challenging, so I guess that's an even better thing for some of you. Story tries to be serious at times, but I felt it was way more oriented to a silly comedy. Still with strong character development though. Overall, Luminous Arc 2 is pretty cool. If you enjoy the first one, there's no reason you won't enjoy this one as well. Number 6. Away, Shuffle Dungeon. I first played this game when I was making the most unknown JRPGs videos on the Nintendo DS, and back then I didn't care much for it. Now that I replayed it for this video, I can't believe how bad I was missing out. This is truly a hidden gem with highly repetitive but addicting gameplay mechanics. It was also made by Mistwalker and R-Tune, with a script by the man himself, and music by legendary composer Nobuo Uematsu. Just like Blue Dragon Awaken Shadow, by the way. This is an action RPG that tells the story of Sword, who doesn't remember how he came to live in this village. Away is like a curse that takes one person, well, away for each year. Just when he was about to be taken, his best friend interferes and the curse ends up taking everyone and everything away. So the goal of the game is to rescue the villagers, including your love interest, but also to restore the town itself. You do this by delving into these dungeons that take both screens of your Nintendo DS. Once you see that one of the screens is shaking, it's time to quickly move to the other one, unless you want to restart the mission from the beginning. After each dungeon, you get to fight a challenging boss in normal action sequences. You use your sword to defeat them or shoot magical bullets at them with your little companions. Man, I could go on and on about this hidden gem, but I think it's best to leave it at that. Just be sure to give it a try if you can. Number 5. Sola to Robo, Red the Hunter. So here's the holy grail of JRPGs on the system and yet another amazing adventure. Action RPG with lots of humor and a cast of characters that remind me of the Mega Man series for some reason. Steampunk elements are overly present here, as you mainly go around on an airship, moving from one location to another. You also fight in a long-armed robot that can lift the enemies and throw them against the floor or each other. Actually, the battle system focuses on this feature, and trust me, as you can see, it is quite fun. There are some platforming elements and also times where you'll need to get out of the robot. You do this in order to investigate certain areas of interest. Story is there mostly as a comedy, but little by little becomes deeper as you unravel the mysteries of this kid you rescue at the beginning. It turns out Red, the main character, has now gotten himself involved in some serious shit. Anyway, I know it's gonna be really hard to get your hands on this game, considering its current price, but if you don't mind emulation, I'd say go for it. Number 4. Adler Annie, Alchemists of Serra Island. Adler Annie is the very first RPG of the nowadays very popular series ever to be localized. Unlike the Iris trilogy, Annie was the first one to be released in the West that focused more on its silly plot, alchemy synthesis, and resource management. That last part is a big part of the game as it involves turning the entire town into an actual resort. The synthesis feature is still there, also as a major aspect of the game, considering most quests will revolve around it. Just like any of the Atelier games that is not Iris, this one has a time limit to do both main and side quests throughout the game. You go to several different areas to gather the materials you need for synthesis, and also, of course, to get into battles. They're turn-based, as you can see right here, taking place in these 2 panels. You can only have 3 characters per battle, positioning one of them, either up front or in the back. Front causes and receives more damage, and back does the opposite. It's very simple and it doesn't require any strategy whatsoever to win, as the game's fairly easy for the most part. If you want to take on the story, prepare for a very funny comedy with likable characters and cute stuff. Try this game out even if you haven't played any of the others. Who knows, it might be the one that hooks you into the series. Number 3. Lunar Nights. I covered this game recently in my underrated action RPGs video, saying it was a fantastic game. It was made by Konami under the production of Hideo Kojima, also known as Boktai DS. Yeah, it's the 4th game in that little franchise, exclusively to this portable system. In Lunar Nights, you will be playing through the entire game, switching between its 2 main characters. The first one will revolve around more action, considering you're the edgy and badass vampire hunter. The second is more about stealth elements, which carries on the legacy of the Boktai titles on the Game Boy Advance. As you can see, the layout is designed in an isometric view, while you run around fighting enemies with your sword. You do this until you move to the next area, naturally. Story is a mixture between Japanese cliches and Western influences, but that's just like Hideo Kojima, so it shouldn't come off as a surprise. And by the way, it takes place in a science fiction universe. Lunar Nights is definitely a game you can't miss on the system, as it is a highly underrated hidden gem. Number 2. Legacy of Ys, Books 1 and 2. What, you didn't know there was an Ys game on the Nintendo DS? Well, now you do. It's one of those many remakes of the original 2 games in the series, and although I believe the PSP version is still the best, I'd play this DS version as well any day. From the beginning you can choose to play either the first one or the second one. I recommend starting with the first one, as the second is a direct sequel of it. Obviously it looks now more Nintendo-ish, even with the music being a downgraded version of the PSP remake. Another major difference is that in all previous remakes you will bump against your enemies to damage them. Here you can finally use your sword, while keeping your short distance from them. Meh, I thought the bumping was more fun, but at least it makes this version easier than most of the others. If you want to experience the first 2 titles in the series, action-packed, with amazing music, a beautiful and yet intriguing story, you can't go wrong with this underrated action RPG. I know the series is kind of popular nowadays, but trust me, this is one of the least known versions of it. Of course it stays on number 2 because, well, what do you expect from an Ys fanboy anyways? Number 1. Suikoden Tierkreis. So the first place goes to a spin-off from my favorite series of all time, one that was also somewhat popular at the beginning. Nowadays, it's just a forgotten gem since all the focus keeps going to the main series. I don't think this title is as good as those others though, but it can easily stand its ground on the system. Suikoden Tierkreis is a great game, and if you play this, keeping in mind that it's a spin-off, you'll surely have a blast. You can still recruit the 108 Stars of Destiny to get the true ending and fight your battles in turns. You only have 4 party members here, but that's okay. It's still fun enough if you abuse the skill in the combo system. There aren't any duels or war battles like in the main series, but like I said, it's just a spin-off, so it's alright. I didn't mind it that much. I gotta say, even though this game is probably among the most popular and less hidden gems on the list, it is easily the best. Suikoden fan or not, I think it's still a wonderful adventure, just make sure you don't compare it much to all the others. And by the way, Tierkreis, it means Zodiac in German. Cool, huh? Okay guys, so I know a lot of you were expecting to see Avalon Code in this list, but I'm sorry, I just couldn't get into it. I tried, I swear I tried. Nope, not for me. So, honorable mention. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time!